Alright, hey guys, it's Andy here with Thorn Computers. We're going to do the start of the build for Snowfall. I got all the parts that I need right here. Fortunately, the RAM won't be here for another few days, but hopefully I can use the spare stick, get everything done that needs to be done, and then we can push forward with the operating system and getting that installed, so on and so forth. So I'll kind of go over the parts here on the build. It comes with the RAM that has not come yet, so the RAM that I'm going to be putting in it is a little bit higher. It's a 3000 clock megahertz instead of the 2666 that comes in Snowfall. So in my last video, I covered the unboxing of the Focus G fractal design case. It's got a mesh front to it. It's got this nice plexiglass siding. A couple of turnkeys here on the back. Comes right off. And along with that, it's got two fans up front. Not sure if they're LED lights or if they are just standard fans. From what it looks like on the photos, it is actually LED fans, but once I get it powered up, I'll kind of be able to show you guys a little bit more. I'll start off with the CPU. No, you know what? I'll start off with the motherboard. Motherboard is the Asus Prime B350ME. It is a mini ATX, sorry. Motherboard, good board. So
I'm just gonna leave them here.
Is this in here?
Yeah, I'll go back.
Go ahead and get this open up here. So like I said, it is mini ATX, a little bit smaller. It comes with two SATA cords right here. I'm going to have the SSD and the hard drive. Comes with our backplate. Couple of spare screws there. Our user guide and installation disk. So all the essential components needed for install. One of the things you are going to need when doing a build is, oh, it's huge. That explains it. We're going to need some tools. I have a little set here that's back when I was in IT. This is what I used all the time. It's great. It has the small tools and heads that you need for doing a lot of this stuff. So also lighting. Lighting is important. Generally, it's dark all the time whenever you're trying to mess with this stuff. So it's good to have some kind of lighting right there. That way you can see what you're doing. So I showed you guys the motherboard. The CPU, I actually already opened it. I always inspect my components before I get into this. That way I make sure none of the pins are broken and stuff like that. So we have the AMD Ryzen 3 2200G. It does come with a Wraith fan or CPU cooler. I don't use those. I just throw them off to the side. It's going to have the Coolmaster Hyper 212 CPU cooler. That's what we're going to be putting on it. This does come with the hardware required, so the back plate, so that we can properly get this installed. This one actually is the red LED. I'll probably end up taking that 120mm fan off, depending on if those front lights are white LED. If they're not, then yeah, it's not that bad. having that on there, but we'll see where things take us. So the Ryzen is the new chipset through AMD. If you did not know that, AMD is right there with Intel now. Personally, I believe. I'm a huge backer of AMD. I've had many CPUs by them, so I'll show you guys here. On CPUs, you can see right there, you got a little gold triangle on your CPU, or on your motherboard. You have that same triangle right here in the, on mine it's going to be the top left corner. You match those up. Should just sink in. If you have to force it in, stop it. You're going to end up bending those pins, and that makes for a very bad day, and that CPU might not work. So don't do that. So CPU is covered. We have, for power supply, fully modular EVGA 450 watt bronze. Normally I go with Corsair, but where I order from, they were out, so I went with EVGA instead. Similar quality product. Overall, it's gonna serve its purpose for giving us the proper amount of power that we need. And this one is going to have the MSI GTX 1050 Ti 4 gig graphic card GPU. I prefer MSI or Asus. Asus is a little bit more expensive, comes with a little bit higher clock rate to it, but overall you're going to get pretty much the same results from them. Mainly just overclocking and stuff like that. You'll see differences. Now this board does have overclocking capabilities as well. It's completely possible. I have my, what did I put it? Oh, 120 gigabytes SSD. It's going to hold main software, main programs, operating system, and I think I left the hard drive in here. Yep. Here we have our Western Digital 3.5 1 terabyte, 7200 RPM hard disk drive. So this is what's going to store most of our data. And then we got Windows 10. So that's basically what we're going to be building today. Kind of get right into it. So one of the things that I forgot to order, because I hate the the thermal paste that they send with. It's usually not as good quality. You can get some better stuff out there, and I forgot to order it, so I'm going to be using that the thermal paste that it came with. I might wipe it off and throw some new stuff on. I am still waiting on that one, the RAM to come in, so we'll see what happens. Generally what I do, the very first step, this back plate, I just get it installed right away. It's just kind of a nuisance if you don't, and then you go and you put your motherboard in and you flip it around and you're like, oh crap, I totally forgot to do that, and then you have to pull it back out, and like I said, it's just kind of a pain in the ass to have to do it over again. So we'll go ahead and get this bad boy installed. So this thing just presses in. You just push firmly on it, and it'll push right into place. So I really wish I would have had a spare black one. most of the MSI boards, because this is Asus silver, MSI is usually black with some kind of red accents to it. On mine, that's how it was too. So one of the perks to MSI is they usually go darker color schemes, white, black, red, black, things like that. So what we'll do now is we'll actually jump into the installation and the hardware for the CPU cooler rather than throw in the CPU in right away, just so that we definitely don't have any issues with it. And I've seen people break off pins and stuff like that, just moving everything around, and my computer's going to sleep. So unbox this bad boy, through there. So again, more installation paperwork. I'm just going to set this up here for now. Usually what I do for everything, I always send all this stuff with my builds. I don't need it. I'm not super worried about it. So this is our Hyper 212. It's got quad copper, oh nice, they covered it. Copper tubing, so 4 tubes run down, giant heatsink. It is a very big CPU cooler, so it takes up a lot of room. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad. If you have some finicky cables that just really don't want to work for you, it can hide that a little bit more. But what you're primarily going to see is this right here. So you're going to have that plexiglass screen, and this is going to be not butted up against it, but that's what you're going to see. So that's what I like about AIOs, is you can actually see like a Corsair, or if you get an RGB, you'll have that right there. So that's really nice. So we got the mounting hardware for that right here. Now you will see me take photos through this as well. I'm gonna have to run downstairs and grab my phone, so I'm gonna pause this. When I do that, it's for the buyer. I always take photos and send photos on the update as to how the build's going, what process, what step I'm on. Keep them informed, and it's just my own little touch to the building process. So they can kind of see like how everything is put together, and then the end result comes to being a finalized computer. And they're like, wow, I went from that to that. That's pretty cool, man. And it is cool. It is cool to see a computer start out as just your individual components and end up being a fully functional computer. And I have fun building them too, so I love computers. They're a lot of fun. Even when they break, to me, it's still a lot of fun. So this I know a lot of people are probably going to post, oh, why don't you have a grounding strap on? Some people prefer to do that. I've built many computers and I've never worn one, never had any issues with it. Maybe that one time when it does happen, I'll be like, oh crap, you know, way to go me for doing something stupid. But until then, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing, and hopefully it never actually happens to me. That'd be real nice. So, there we go. Ooh, and I dropped it. So this back plate, it's got these little sliding clips on it. So basically all you have to do is move them over, and oh, this one's mounting on the top. Okay. I should probably get all this stuff opened up here. before I go down with that. Might be a good idea, right? So, keep that little baggie right up there. Now it's been a while since I installed one of these Hyper 212s, so I'm going to need these guys right here. I believe it's these ones. I don't think it's those. Yeah, this is that thermal paste. It's just, I don't know, not a very good quality. It's kind of a cheap little baggie there. Sorry if the screen's bouncing around. There you go. Now you guys can kind of see what's going on here. So we'll go ahead and pull off all of these and not lose stuff. I'm already losing shit. Throwing screws and stuff all over the place, right? So actually, this backplate might work still, because I believe if I'm doing this right, it's going to be this guy that runs that way, and these go in like so. Yeah, it should be that way. So, you guys can kind of see what I'm doing here, but I can barely see what I'm doing here. Might have to get the installation manual out here. Just kind of help me out. So, it looks like the stock backplate is good to go. We can still use that. So that's gonna stay right there. The other one's for Intel. I knew it was one or the other. Hopefully won't have to deal with that again. There we go. Alright, so now we have a small pivoting arm right here. You're going to bring that up, you're going to see the whole thing shift. You can go ahead and install the CPU. Ryzen 3 2200. Again, you're going to see right here that little gold tab. Take that, we're going to match it up on the board itself, and wham, just like that. You literally just pick it up or set it down and it'll drop down in. You take that arm, press it down, bring it out, and it'll catch on the lip. What I normally do, just kind of take it, try to do something like this, just to make sure it doesn't pop out. Sometimes it doesn't fully engage, but yeah, we got that right there. Here's the step ups. Where did I put that? Alright, so we are going to throw this backing plate that did come with the Hyper 212 on that. Move that guy out of the way. Well, maybe not. Okay. Sick deal. Nope. Nope. Okay. Looks like that is not going to work. At least the way that it was planned. There we go. Alright. These big guys. Weird. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Alright, so I'm gonna put these, block these spacers here on as stated in the installation guide. There's going to be one of these on each of these. These things are kind of a pain. It's like they don't thread on at first. You kind of have to. Oh, okay, that works. That works too, man. Oh, okay. This should be exciting. Alright, I'm just going to scoot that one and go to this one. I don't know what's going on with that. And that one just did the same thing. Alright, so we are back, and I went ahead and opened up the user manual on the install and found out that I don't need any of this. The only thing that I need is this little guy right here, and this is going to clip over here. Obviously, the CPU cooler is going to be right there, and then this guy, this little arm, is going to lock into place. And that's going to hold it there. So we will Whoop. Not do that. On the bottom of these Hyper 212s, they have a piece of plastic. Do not leave that on there. Make sure you take it off. Even if you're not using the owner manual, make sure you take that off, because that is going to be bad news for you. When you go to start that thing up and that plastic melts to your CPU, that is gonna suck. So just make sure you nice, got some skizzers right here. Make sure you take that off. So we'll take our thermal paste and put a dab right there in the middle, and I'm just gonna set that off to the side for right now. Now, what I like to do is just take the fan cable and just wrap it around the top. Try to get it to stay kind of out of the way. Just makes everything easier on you. So we're going to mount it. I think the way I want to do it is actually have it blow exhaust up. So be sitting roughly about there. So to get backside clipped in, we'll get this side down and over that little lip. Boom, money shot. And then just flip this tab around, and now we have our CPU and CPU cooler installed. So generally what I would do from here is install the RAM, and then move on to the actual tower itself, making sure all the spacers are installed on that, and getting the motherboard prepped for install. Usually what I do last is the GPU, getting that plugged in. Oh, that's nice. It's actually got a SD slot here on the motherboard. Very nice. 4 SATA slots, 24 pin, 8 pin is up top. We have CPU fan. I know I have some. Zip ties around here. Zip ties are going to be essential to your build once you start getting a little further into it. So make sure that that's sitting real well on top of there. Processor looks good. Hold in place real nice. Alright, cool. Alright, so now that I have that done, I'm actually going to take that, I'm going to set it off to the side, and we will come back to the motherboard when we get the case for the most part situated. Turn the light on all the way up. I'm going to pause this. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, and like I said, I will be taking some photos for the guy who is going to be the person who's buying this. Give him updates, kind of show him where I'm sitting at with the case and the build. So, got that done. We'll go ahead, and I already have the plexiglass side removed. I usually take off the other side too, just so I can kind of get an idea to what everything is, where everything is, where I can route things, where I cannot. And I might actually need to move around my desk a little bit because I have too much stuff and not enough space. Story of my life right there. All the time. Too much stuff, not enough space. So, suppose I can go ahead and put all these extra screws and stuff. Oops. In the bags, get these put away. That's another thing. When building computers, you always have a bunch of stuff sitting around, and I like to keep a tidy area just so that you can kind of keep things clean, neat, and organized. You don't have to worry about it when the time comes to not only clean up, but also when you got to move things around and when things actually start going inside of other things. Yep. Alright, so we got some zip ties in here. They gave us 2. Sick. I love getting 2 zip ties. Literally 2. So I got some more downstairs. I'll have to go grab them. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how much we actually need. So, I'm going to go ahead and untwist that. We have our plugs, USB 3.0, power reset, HD audio, USB. I usually just take these and just kind of wrap them out of the way for the time being until we actually start digging into stuff. These little twisty ties, I always keep those because they actually can be useful. I mean, not all the time useful, but they can be useful here and there. Especially if you're short on zip ties or only receive 2, fractal design. Then when you're doing your cable management and routing your cables, you can actually use these to temporarily tie things down. And if they break or if you have to cut them off, whatever, then they're expendable. They're just kind of sitting around. So we do have our 2 fans up front, right here and right here. And you know what? I may need a fan controller now that I think about it. I don't know how many fan. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how many. I'm gonna go ahead and boom, shut down, because this RAM is going to come out of my gaming PC, or I should say Thorn's PC. And I'm going to install it, that way I can get this all situated. When his RAM gets here, I can just pop mine out and throw his in. So mine is underneath the desk. I'm going to take care of the case first, and then we'll get to that. We'll tackle all of this one step at a time. So I like to do is lay it down. Makes it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so we have screws, and more screws. We do have more of the spacers, the step-ups. So in here, which is good, allows you to put things where you need it. Now here's where fitting it before actually installing it comes into play, mainly because you have set holes that these all have to go into. You gotta make sure everything is lined up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 2 up top, 2 about 3/4 of the way down, and then 2 at the very bottom. So now here I need to make sure that I have the proper holes for each of those, and the step-ups installed on those as well. So we're going to go ahead and start getting those installed. There's one. My kids, please. There's one installed on there already. One more forward there. Nice little clip right there. That's cool. Oh, no, that's not right. That one I'm gonna have to get. That's actually it's more of a block. So checks. Should need 3 more. There it is. That's the guy I was looking for, right? Yeah. Yeah, they usually give a small tool so you can actually do this. Now, I'm not super good with editing and stuff like that, so when I post this, if the editing is super choppy, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep the time down. I'm at 36 minutes right now. Don't see myself being able to finish this. Might actually break it up into 2 separate when I get the probably stop it in about 5 minutes here, and when I get the the RAM out and get it installed in this computer, I'll probably save that for the next segment. I'll just do a 2 set for this specific build, just because I know I was kind of fumbling around going over the build and stuff in the very beginning. Now I'm kind of rolling with it and making some progress. So we got the actual motherboard done. I do have to wake my kids up here, so don't really want them sleeping all day because they're not going to sleep tonight, and I gotta work tomorrow. So I'm hoping to get this done tonight, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen, which is okay. I'll just have to periodically work on it throughout the week. So yeah, I'll get these step-ups installed, and then I'll probably cut the video, and I'll post the part 2 to the build. And I'll probably upload them all together, to tell you the truth, and then they'll just be right there with it, but I'll probably be wearing different clothes and stuff like that. I'll just do it on a separate day. So on that note, I got all of the spacers, step-ups installed, and I'm going to cut the video here, and I'll start another video after I get my kids up. We'll get that installed, we'll get the RAM out of my computer installed on that motherboard, and we'll go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the Thorn experience.